What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to have a hopefully interesting discussion with you guys about, I guess, PlayStation or companies that kind of neglect their old games. You know, it is something we've obviously talked about so much because of my adoring love for Sly Cooper and, other things. But, this did actually make me quite mad because people predicted this would happen, and then you saw it in real time. So what we're talking about is Killzone, if you didn't know, which actually I don't blame you because nobody really said anything. Killzone celebrated its 20th anniversary yesterday. Now, on Friday, I saw multiple accounts, both Killzone fan accounts and also just like kind of PlayStation fan accounts. I saw them predicting that nothing was going to happen, right? I saw them like almost taking bets, saying, hey, how much you want to bet that we're the only ones that celebrate Killzone's 20th anniversary tomorrow, right? And that PlayStation and Guerilla don't even mention it. Well, fast forward to yesterday, right, November 2nd. The anniversary came. You see the Killzone fan pages. You see other people. I quote tweet one of them as well. You have all that stuff, right? And then Guerilla, you go on their Twitter, and they're reposting Aloy fan art, I think the day before. I don't even think they posted anything yesterday. On Friday, I think they did an Aloy thing. Now, here's the deal, okay? On Halloween, they did the Horizon, remaster thing, right? And I actually haven't gotten it yet, but I'm going to. $10, pretty fine deal, whatever. So I get it. They're a little busy, right? Now, actually, Nix's is the one that's doing it, but, it's their franchise. It's not a new game per se, but, it's a major enhancement, actually, because it does look really good. Major enhancement to their flagship game right now, flagship franchise right now, right? I get it. I get, like, they want to focus on that game. But I've had enough. I guess this is where it kind of gets a little bit more aggressive. I've had enough of this stuff where why can't we even acknowledge it, right? Yesterday goes by. And PlayStation, now I think maybe one of the PlayStation, like the one of the other like countries, there's PlayStation France and PlayStation Germany. Maybe one of them did it, but for the most part, no PlayStation account did it. And honestly, I would say this is more of like a talking specifically to Guerrilla, right? I get it. Like, look, are people still there that made Killzone 20 years ago? Probably not. I mean, 20 years is such a long time. And also, the studio has just completely rebranded itself, right? Since 2017, really since Shadowfall came out, right? The day after that, they shut the whole thing down, right? They said, we're not doing this shooter stuff anymore, and we're going to hire people that know how to do quests and know how to build open world. And they did that, right? So, okay, I get it. I understand. There's probably, honestly, there might be nobody there that worked on Killzone 1, okay? That's very likely. In fact, that's actually extremely likely. But why can't you just tweet? I was telling this to a friend of mine last night. Why can't you just send? Is it that hard? Here's the thing. You had fan accounts doing it. Can you not say 20 years ago, we start our journey battling against the Hellghast on X planet, and thank you to all the people that have stuck around to see even the transition from Killzone to Horizon. Is it that? You can even throw in Horizon, like I just did. You can even bring it back to Horizon. But can you acknowledge the franchise that really put your studio on the map? Now look, Horizon 1 sold more than every Killzone game put together and then some, okay? That's like the true fact. So we're not talking about like the biggest franchise of all time. Like I think Naughty Dog still does acknowledge like Uncharted's anniversaries, right? Like that still does happen. Okay, cool. And I think they even also do Nolan North's birthday, which was actually I think also on Halloween or maybe the day before. So sometimes it happens, but for a thing like Killzone, why can't we, you know what I mean? Like, look, I know a week ago on this channel, we talked about, I did like a story or whatever. I talked about a story. They're not going back to Killzone. We all kind of know that, right? Like, okay, in my heart, do I want Killzone to return? Yes, 1,000% yes. I'd like a new game, but more realistically, I would like just a remaster, like just a collection. Put the 4 games, and actually there's more if you count handhelds, but, just say the console ones, whatever. The 4 games, put them all together, okay? That's all that it really takes, like, to satisfy me. But you know what? I'll even go simpler. I'll knock that out of the park. Why don't you just acknowledge that you created it? Honestly, why don't you just say, thank you for 20 years of Killzone? Again, like, I know they're promoting Horizon. I know Horizon is their main thing, but this is where I just don't understand companies. And look, I'm specifically talking about Killzone. This is an industry thing. It's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. I don't know, that's a cliche line, and it can get over-exaggerated, but it does tick me off whenever any game, honestly, any game of, like, somewhat people know about it, right? any game has an anniversary and the company just doesn't, I'm not saying throw a freaking party. I'm not saying ordering cake. I'm not saying remaster it for the anniversary every goddamn year. I'm saying send a tweet out. Send one tweet, put it on Instagram, do one post, right? That kind of covers all of the social media spectrums. Do one post acknowledging that that game existed. That's it. You don't have to, and like that's not conceding. See, my opinion, my theory is that they don't want to do it because they're afraid that if they acknowledge it, leakers or even fake leakers and insiders or whatever, fandoms, right? Maybe they'll give them hope where they don't want to, right? So if you acknowledge Killzone's 20th anniversary, they might be thinking, all right, if we say something, people are all of a sudden going to think we're like remastering it. And honestly, that's more on us. That's more our fault. Now, like, we can want it. We can absolutely want it. But to be tricked into, okay, well, they do a post celebrating the 20th anniversary, and then we take it as, okay, that means it's back. It's coming back next year. That's on us. That honestly, I mean, I would take responsibility. Anybody should take responsibility, okay? That would be more on us. That should not be something that scares them off, right? Because here's the thing. The other way because how else do you think about it? If it's not that line of thinking, right? If it's not them thinking, well, we're focusing on Horizon. If we do, I guess you could think about that too. We just don't care. And that's the worst case scenario, right? So if you're not thinking about, well, we don't want to give people false hope. Okay. The only other thing that they could be thinking right now is we don't care. We don't care. That line, we don't care. 3 words. That's what they could be thinking. That's what all of them think, or they could be thinking, right? But if they're not coming at it with any other line of thought, they're not thinking, okay, well, we just don't want to draw eyes to it, or maybe we're hiding some. That's fine, right? Maybe we are doing a remaster. We don't want to put people on our trail. Okay, if you're not coming at it from that line of thought, when you just skip the day, this is okay, and this is what I kind of want to leave the video with here, right? You skip Killzone's 20th anniversary, right? What am I led to believe based off Guerilla's record and even just PlayStation or the industry? Go bigger. So many games just don't even get talked about, right? Or, the anniversary comes, whatever, and nobody says a word. And by the way, this is not the 12th anniversary. This is not the 9th, right? Like, if you're not doing 5s and 10s, it might not be as important, right? Uncharted 3 was 13. Now, I think Naughty Dog acknowledged that, but 13, okay? That's not, 15 is big. 10 is big, right? 5, 10, 15, all that stuff. Killzone turned 20 years old. 20, that's one of those big numbers, right? 10, 20, 30, 5, 15, 25. Those are big ones. Killzone turned 20 years old on a day, and they didn't tweet. So what am I led to believe? I'm led to believe they don't care. It doesn't even take a lot to care. You can fake caring, by the way, right? You could steal a fan's tweet and say it was your own. Guerilla, one of their social media people, could just take a fan post and do it themselves, and then they don't care. Guerilla doesn't care, but at least they acknowledge. Is that so hard to do? And I guess it is. I guess it's too high. I guess they're more willing to let a couple. I mean, look, at the end of the day, who really cares? You could also argue that, like me, couple thousand people. Okay, but right now, you've led us, me, and a couple thousand people to believe you just don't care about a franchise. And like, why don't you care? Like, why wouldn't you care about a franchise that helped build your studio? Because to those people, it didn't make them, right? If you're a 30-year-old person working at Guerrilla on the social media team, you weren't there for Killzone 1. You weren't part of Guerrilla. You didn't care about it. Maybe you didn't even play Killzone. So, like, why would you care? But I don't know. From my perspective, it's like you have these jobs. You do a little bit of research. You do a little, if you work at Guerrilla, if you work in any of these gaming studios, do a little bit of work and just know, like, what they made in the past. It doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean that you were a part of it. Clearly, that was not true. And you also don't have to like it at all. You could, like, literally say, it's not my type of game. I never even played that game. But just know that it happened, right? And then if you work on, like, the social media thing, can you put out a tweet saying, hey, Killzone turned 20. That's a super cool thing. Remember Killzone, everybody? Can you not do that? Like, is that not allowed? Again, this whole time, a lot of this has been directed towards Guerrilla, but it's like maybe PlayStation tells them not to do it. I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works. I'd love to know. And, that transparency would kind of be nice in situations like this because we don't really know what's going on. All we know is that they ignored it. And that's what it comes across as, right? So that's not a good look. So maybe they would like to speak up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and hope to see you all on the next one.